Look, I'll be straight with you. We live in a world designed to make you weak, not dramatically. Not all at once, just slowly. One scroll at a time. One just this once at a time. The fridge at midnight. The app you said you'd delete 3 months ago. The show you meant to watch for 20 minutes that somehow ate 4 hours. And here's the thing, nobody tells you. It's not a willpower problem. It never was. The Stoics figured this out roughly 2,000 years before neuroscience caught up. They had a word for what you're fighting. Epidemia. Which sounds clinical, but really just means that sharp pull you feel toward a pleasure you haven't had yet. The anticipation. The craving for something that doesn't exist yet, but feels almost real in your imagination. That's the actual enemy. Not the food, not the phone, the wanting. And here's why it keeps winning. Every time you give in, the wanting gets louder next time. That's not weakness. That's just how habits form. Repetition builds the groove deeper, which means the groove you're in right now. You carved it yourself, one small surrender at a time. So what do you do with that? Epictetus, and honestly, this guy had more reason than most of us to just give up entirely, given that he was literally enslaved for a larger portion of his life, had one specific piece of advice that I keep coming back to. He said, when the craving hits, don't fight it and don't feed it. Pause. Just wait. Give yourself a gap, even a small one. Because here's what he understood that we tend to miss. The craving is loudest right at the start. It hasn't taken over yet. That's when it's weakest, not strongest. Most people wait until it's screaming before they try to resist. And by then, the rational part of the brain has basically gone offline. But if you catch it early, when it's still just a flicker, that's the moment. This is what he meant by Stoic awareness. Not suppressing the craving through sheer force, which almost never works long term, but actually watching it, noticing it, treating it like weather passing through rather than a command you have to obey. And then he gave a second tool, which is honestly a little uncomfortable to try, but weirdly effective. He said, imagine both futures, not just the good one, both. Picture yourself giving in. The moment of pleasure, sure, but then the moment right after. The one where you're staring at the ceiling at 1 a.m., feeling vaguely gross about yourself. Or the one 3 months from now, where nothing has changed and you're still trying to quit the same thing. Then picture the other future, the one where you didn't, where you closed the app, walked past the fridge, put the thing down, and you feel not deprived, but weirdly proud. That low-key satisfaction that's hard to describe, but you know it when you feel it. Here's something Epictetus actually said, and I think it's the most underrated line in all of Stoic philosophy. Place against temptation the thought of how much better it is to be conscious of having won a great victory. We celebrate consumption. We don't celebrate restraint. We don't have a cultural story for the pleasure of not doing something. But that pleasure is real, and unlike the craving, it doesn't fade. You can come back to it. You can remind yourself of it hours later and it still counts. The habit gets weaker each time you don't feed it. You get stronger each time you don't. That's not a metaphor. That's literally how the neural pathways work. The ones you don't use start to thin out, which means every pause, every small refusal, every moment you just wait, is doing something real in the architecture of your brain. The craving will lie to you. It always does. It'll tell you this pleasure is different, that you've been good lately, that one time won't matter, and maybe sometimes one time genuinely doesn't. But Epictetus would say, the question isn't whether this particular indulgence will destroy you. The question is who you're becoming, one small decision at a time. The pleasure you're being promised? It's mostly borrowed from the future. The satisfaction of winning the moment. That one's yours to keep.